quiet girl set up as cruel joke. Single father's proposal brings love and family home. The evening sky glowed faint orange as Emily Carter stepped off the city bus and onto Willowbrook Avenue. Her palms were damp, her cardigan sleeves pulled tight around her wrists. The golden lights of Stonehaven Grill shimmered like a warning she couldn't ignore. Her phone buzzed again. A message from Clara, her one real friend at work. Just go in. He's waiting. I promise it's not what you think. Emily swallowed hard, her throat tight. 2 years ago, she might have believed this was fate. But not now. Not after betrayal had cost her everything. She took a breath, whispering under her breath, "It's just dinner. Nothing more." Then pushed open the glass doors. Inside, the restaurant hummed with the clinking of wine glasses and soft jazz. Hostesses in black dresses glided between tables. The air smelled of rosemary and seared steak. "Reservation for Carter?" Emily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The hostess smiled politely and gestured toward the far corner. Right this way. Every step felt heavier. Her heels clicked against the stone floor like a countdown, and then she saw him. At the corner table, a man sat with a little girl in a booster seat. She had curls the color of chestnuts and clutched a stuffed bunny with one ear dangling loose. Emily froze. A sharp giggle erupted to her right. She turned. 3 women from her office, drinks in hand, phones half raised. At the center sat Vanessa, the woman who had orchestrated this whole night. "Oh my God," one whispered loudly. "He actually brought a kid. This is priceless." Another snickered. Blind date or babysitting gig. Heat flooded Emily's face. Her instinct screamed, "Run! Don't give them the satisfaction." But then, the little girl looked up. Big brown eyes. A smile so pure it pierced through the humiliation. She lifted her tiny hand and waved. Emily's heart cracked. The man stood quickly, pulling out the empty chair across from him. "Hi, you must be Emily." His voice was calm, low. "I'm Nathan." And this, he glanced at the girl, is Lily. Emily's knees trembled, but pride kept her rooted. She sat down, forcing her breath steady. From the other table came another hiss of laughter. Vanessa muttered, just loud enough. Unreal. She actually sat. Emily clenched her hands under the table. She wanted to vanish. But instead, she lifted her chin and looked at Nathan. Nathan adjusted Lily's sweater as the little girl picked up a breadstick. He gave a small, apologetic smile. "I'm sorry. This isn't what you were expecting. My babysitter canceled last minute. I almost called it off, too." Emily stared at him, waiting for the punchline. But there was none. He leaned forward slightly, sincerity in his eyes. "Truth is, I didn't want to miss meeting you." Something in his tone disarmed her. It wasn't arrogance. It was honesty. "It's okay," she managed. Her voice was softer than intended. Lily fished a purple crayon from her backpack and pressed it against a notepad. Her little tongue stuck out in concentration. "She loves drawing," Nathan said, watching his daughter. "Sometimes princesses, sometimes dinosaurs, occasionally both." Emily cracked a smile despite herself. "That's versatile. She has range." He chuckled, relief flickering across his face. For a moment, the buzzing laughter from 2 tables over faded. Then, footsteps approached. A woman from Vanessa's group strutted over, glass of wine in hand. Well, she said, feigning surprise. "Didn't know you were into this kind of setup." Emily stiffened. The woman leaned toward Lily, voice dripping with mockery. "Guess you're the type who ends up on dates with single dads. Fits perfectly, doesn't it?" Before Emily could respond, Nathan rose to his feet. He placed a steady hand on Lily's shoulder, his voice calm but firm. "I'm proud to be a father," he said evenly. "And I know how to respect the woman across from me, something you clearly don't." The woman's smirk faltered. She blinked, scoffed, and retreated back to her table. Emily's breath hitched. She hadn't expected that. Not here, not tonight. Lily, oblivious to the tension, held up her drawing. "Look," she chirped, handing it to Emily. It was a princess with golden hair, wearing a purple gown and crown. "Is this me?" Emily asked, stunned. "Yes," Lily said proudly. "You look like a princess." Emily's chest tightened. Nathan added softly, "She doesn't say that often. Usually, it's her dinosaur named Max." Emily laughed gently, blinking away the sting in her eyes. "Well, I'm honored." She folded the drawing carefully, sliding it into her purse like treasure. Dinner arrived. Conversation stumbled at first, then found its rhythm. Nathan asked about her day, about her favorite books, about whether she preferred mornings or nights. "No one's asked me that in a long time," Emily admitted. "Sometimes," Nathan said. "The small things tell you the most." From the other table, Vanessa muttered something about playing house. Emily ignored it. She focused on Nathan cutting Lily's food, listening to his daughter chatter about castles made of French fries. But every laugh, every smile carried a shadow. Emily knew this wasn't just dinner. This was entertainment for people who wanted to see her humiliated. Still, she stayed, maybe out of pride, maybe out of defiance, or maybe because when Nathan looked at her, he didn't see a joke. The meal ended, and Emily instinctively reached for her wallet. But Nathan gently stopped her hand. "Please," he said, "let me." Her cheeks warmed. "This place is expensive. I know." "I said yes because I wanted to be here," he interrupted softly. The words lingered. For the first time all night, the laughter from across the room didn't matter. Outside, the air was cooler, crisp with autumn. Nathan carried Lily against his chest, the little girl half asleep, Bunny dangling from her arm. They walked together toward Emily's apartment block. At the corner, Lily stirred, her voice groggy but sweet. "You made Daddy smile a lot tonight," she whispered to Emily. "He smiles more when you're here." Emily hugged her gently, throat tight. She looked up at Nathan. His eyes were tired, but full of gratitude. At her doorstep, they said goodbye in quiet tones. Unspoken promises hung in the night air. Emily slipped inside, leaned against the door, and let the tears come not from shame, but from something unfamiliar. Relief. Later, she typed 2 words, "Thank you." Minutes later, her phone lit up. Nathan's reply, "Thank you for not walking away." For the first time in years, Emily Carter went to bed, smiling. The next morning, Emily woke up to sunlight filtering through her blinds. She reached for her phone, still half asleep. A single message blinked on the screen. "Good morning. Lily insists her bunny says hi." Her lips curved before she realized. She quickly typed back, "Tell Bunny hi for me," and "Good morning to you both." That was the beginning. Small notes, gentle words, yet each one felt like a hand reaching through the fog she'd lived in for years. By Friday, their texts stretched into long threads. Jokes about Lily's obsession with pancakes, questions about favorite movies, even the silly debate over whether sunsets or sunrises were better. Emily confessed sunsets. "They feel like a quiet curtain call." Nathan replied instantly, "Then I'll take sunrises. I promise you can start over." She stared at that line for a long time, her chest tightening in ways she didn't want to name. Saturday came with another message, Maple Ridge Community Center. 3 p.m. Lily has something to show you. Emily hesitated. She stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, hands trembling. She wasn't sure if this was smart or reckless. But when she saw Lily's crayon princess tucked inside her purse, she whispered. Okay, and went. The community center looked modest from outside, nestled between a library and a tiny garden. But inside, it pulsed with color paper butterflies, handprints on the walls, and music from children banging on toy drums. Nathan was waiting at the entrance. Lily perched on his arm in a pink tutu. She's been talking about this all week, he said with a tired but proud smile. Come on. She'll be crushed if you don't see. Emily followed them into a room filled with children's paintings. Rainbows, houses, stick figures dancing under suns. And then, one canvas with 3 figures. Lily dragged her closer. This one's mine, she announced. Emily bent down, her breath catching. The painting showed a little girl holding hands with 2 adults. One tall figure with dark hair, clearly Nathan, and another, a woman with golden hair in a yellow dress. Across the top, in wobbly red letters, read Mommy Too. Emily's throat closed. Is that me? She whispered. Lily nodded firmly. You help Daddy smile. That's what mommies do. Emily's eyes burned. Nathan turned away slightly, pretending to adjust Lily's shoe strap. His silence spoke louder than words. The rest of the afternoon blurred with finger paints and laughter. Parents stopped to shake Nathan's hand, thanking him for something Emily didn't quite understand. She noticed it in the way people spoke his name, with respect, with gratitude. But Nathan brushed it all off. He was just Lily's dad, nothing more. As they left, Emily caught a glimpse of his phone buzzing, a flash of an email address. Her heart skipped Asterion Capital, one of the biggest investment firms in the country. He noticed her glance, their eyes locked. You saw it, didn't you? He asked quietly. Emily nodded, unsure. Nathan exhaled. I keep that part of my life quiet. People act differently once they know. But with you... He paused, searching her face. With you, I'd rather just be a dad holding it together. Emily didn't answer. But inside, doubt began to creep in. The days that followed were warm, yet heavy. Emily loved Lily's video messages, her squeaky voice declaring, "Good night, Princess Emily." She loved Nathan's late-night questions about books, or the way he always asked about her mother's health without pity. But beneath it all, fear brewed. Fear that she didn't belong in their world. Fear that she was playing a role she could never sustain. The breaking point came on a Monday morning. Emily walked into the office and felt the stares. Phones angled her way. Whispers too sharp to miss. Then she saw it. On social media, a photo of her crouched down tying Lily's shoe. The caption, dripping with venom. Some women will play house with anyone just to feel needed. Cringe. Comments spiraled with laughing emojis, fake sympathy, and Vanessa's name stamped right there. Emily's chest caved in. She turned off her phone. By noon, she handed in her resignation without a word. Clara showed up that night, bursting into Emily's apartment with takeout in one hand. You quit, she demanded, and you're ghosting him too. Emily sat curled on the couch, voice raw. You don't understand. Then make me understand. Emily's eyes brimmed. He's everything I'm not. Stable, respected, a man people look up to. And me, I'm a girl with a sick mom and no savings. He deserves someone, not broken. Clara's glare softened, but her words were sharp. He never treated you like pity. He sees you, and Lily, she lights up when you walk in. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of being loved for real. Emily turned away, silent. But when Clara left, tears spilled onto her hands until she shook. 3 nights later, a knock rattled her door. Emily opened it to find Nathan standing there, Lily half asleep on his shoulder. He didn't speak right away. His eyes searched hers, steady and patient. Finally, he whispered, "I didn't come to argue. I just needed to see you. One last time. If that's all you'll let me have." Emily's breath broke. She couldn't form words. Lily squirmed, sliding down from her father's arms. She held out a folded paper, her bunny dangling from the other hand. "It's for you," she said softly. Emily's fingers trembled as she unfolded it. Crayon lines, a rainbow overhead, 3 figures holding hands. Her tears fell before she could stop them. She pressed the drawing to her chest, unable to tell if she was shattering or finally piecing herself back together. That night, she sat on the floor, the little picture beside her. The city outside was loud, but her apartment was silent. She whispered to no one, "Why me?" And the silence answered back, "Why not you?" Her phone remained dark. She couldn't bring herself to text. But sleep didn't come, only the echo of Lily's words. "You helped Daddy smile." And for the first time, Emily realized, walking away might not just break her, it might break them too. The week passed like fog. Emily went through motions: laundry, groceries, long hospital visits with her mom, yet every step felt heavier. The crayon drawing sat on her kitchen counter, a silent witness. Every time she passed, her eyes caught the rainbow, the 3 figures hand in hand. She wanted to believe it meant something. But fear whispered louder. By Thursday evening, Clara stormed in again, refusing to knock. "Enough," she said, dropping her bag with a thud. "You can't just hide forever." Emily rubbed her temples. "I'm not hiding. I'm protecting them from what Clara shot back. From a man who clearly adores you. From a little girl who sees you as family." Emily shook her head, her voice cracking. "I'll only disappoint them. I can't be who they need." Clara crossed her arms, maybe stop deciding for them. The next day, Emily found herself outside Maple Ridge Community Center again. She told herself she just wanted to drop off art supplies she'd promised earlier. Nothing more. But inside, she saw Nathan surrounded by volunteers, reviewing a stack of papers. Parents came by, thanking him, shaking his hand. Some even whispered words like foundation and funding. Emily lingered at the doorway, unseen. The truth unfolded before her eyes. Nathan wasn't just Lily's dad. He was the man behind it all, the one paying for scholarships, for after-school art programs, for meals kids couldn't afford. Her chest tightened. He wasn't just kind. He was powerful, and he had never said a word. Later, when he spotted her near the hall, his face lit with quiet relief. "You came." Emily forced a smile. "I just brought these supplies." He took the box gently from her hands, their fingers brushing. "You didn't have to. But thank you." For a long moment, they stood in the hum of chatter around them, neither speaking. Finally, Emily whispered, "Why didn't you tell me?" Nathan's jaw shifted. "Because I didn't want you to see the headlines. I wanted you to see me." That night, Emily lay awake staring at her ceiling. His words echoed, but so did the whispers at her old office. The cruel photo caption. She thought of Lily calling her mommy too, and guilt pressed like a weight on her ribs. She wasn't worthy of those titles. The following morning, she typed a short message, "I need space," then powered off her phone. But space didn't bring peace. It brought silence. Days passed. No morning texts, no photos of Lily's pancakes, no Nathan asking about sunsets. Emily folded into herself. Until one evening, her mother, frail but sharp-eyed, looked at her from the hospital bed. "Sweetheart, you've been carrying sadness like armor. Who are you trying to keep out?" Emily blinked back tears. I don't want to hurt them. Her mother reached for her hand, squeezing weakly. Or maybe you don't want to let yourself be happy. Don't confuse fear with protection. The words rattled inside Emily's mind. But it was too late, or so she believed. That weekend, news spread through the city. Hope Light Foundation was hosting its annual gala. The newspapers hailed Nathan Hale as the visionary who had revitalized entire neighborhoods. Emily stared at the article photo. Nathan in a tailored suit. Lily perched on his lap, both smiling at the crowd. Her heart clenched. This was his world, and she no longer belonged in it. On Monday morning, she walked past Stonehaven Grill, the very place everything had begun. She paused at the glass doors, memories crashing in, the laughter, the humiliation, the princess drawing. Her chest burned. She whispered to the empty street, "Why did I sit down that night?" The answer came in memory, Lily's voice, small and pure. "You make Daddy smile." The following week, Clara refused to let her sulk. She showed up with 2 tickets in hand. "You're coming," she declared, to what Emily asked warily. "The Women Rise Summit." Clara said, "You need a reminder of who you are and maybe who you're running from." Emily shook her head. "I can't face him." Clara leaned closer. "Maybe it's not about facing him. Maybe it's about facing yourself." Emily reluctantly agreed. On the morning of the event, she dressed simply, tugging at the hem of her modest dress. She told herself she'd stay in the back, unnoticed. The ballroom buzzed with anticipation. Stories of resilience filled the stage women who had battled illness, loss, failure. Emily tried to listen, but her mind wandered. Her heart still ached from what she'd thrown away. Then the MC's voice rang out. "Please welcome our final speaker, the founder of the Hope Light Foundation, Mr. Nathan Hale." Emily's breath caught. Applause thundered as Nathan stepped onto the stage, crisp navy suit, presence steady but humble. When his eyes swept the crowd and landed on her, his pause was almost imperceptible. Almost. "Good afternoon," he began. "I'll keep this short. This isn't about me. It's about you, the women who refuse to quit, even when the world tells you to." Emily's hands shook in her lap. She couldn't look away. Nathan's voice grew softer, more vulnerable. 3 years ago, I lost my wife. For a long time, I didn't know how to keep showing up. But my daughter needed me, and in building something for her, I found something bigger, a reason to keep going. He closed his folder of notes, setting it aside. But sometimes, life surprises you. Sometimes it gives you light in places you least expect it. Emily's pulse thundered. She knew. She knew he was talking about her. And then, before anyone could react, Nathan stepped down from the stage. The ballroom hushed. He walked steadily past rows of seats, his gaze never leaving the far corner where Emily sat frozen. Every eye turned. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Nathan stopped in front of her chair. His presence filled the air, and in one fluid motion, he knelt. The velvet box opened, golden light catching on the simple band inside. "Emily," he said, voice firm yet trembling. "The night they made my daughter a joke, you sat down anyway. You turned cruelty into kindness. You gave us something real." Her eyes blurred. She covered her mouth, fighting sobs. Nathan's voice dropped lower. "Intimate. For her alone. Every moment since has only proved what I knew that night. Your family. Will you be the first to call me husband again since the day I lost everything?" The room held its breath. Emily stood, her legs shaking. Tears streamed unchecked. She didn't speak. She only nodded once, twice, again, and that was enough. Applause erupted. Cheers echoed. Strangers clapped with tears in their eyes. From the aisle, A small figure darted forward, tutu bouncing. Lily launched herself into Emily's arms, giggling through happy tears. "Does this mean?" she whispered into Emily's neck. "I finally have a mommy." Emily hugged her tight, voice trembling. "Yes, sweetheart, you do." The ballroom still vibrated with applause long after Nathan stood and wrapped his arms around Emily and Lily. Cameras flashed, strangers cheered. But in the center of it all, it felt like the world had narrowed to just 3 people. Emily clung to Lily, heart pounding, whispering through tears. "You're safe. We're safe." Nathan's hand steadied her back, his voice low. "You're home now." The weeks that followed moved quickly. Emily moved into Nathan's house on Maple Lane. A warm, sunlit home filled with bookshelves and Lily's scattered toys. Cardboard boxes lined the hallway. But Emily didn't feel like a guest. Nathan cleared a drawer in his dresser for her. Lily taped a crayon sign to her door, Mommy's room too. At night, when the house quieted, Emily sometimes sat on the edge of the bed, whispering, "Is this real?" Nathan would kiss her temple. "It's real, and it's ours." Every morning, Emily slipped notes into Lily's lunchbox. Silly doodles, encouraging words, a habit Nathan told her his late wife used to do. One morning, Lily pulled out the note at the breakfast table, grinning. It says, "Shine today, Princess." Nathan glanced at Emily, his eyes soft. "She always shines brighter when you're here." Emily's chest ached, but this time it was the good kind. But love wasn't the only new thing blooming. At Maple Ridge Community Center, children poured in for art classes. Paint, crayons, clay supplies funded quietly by Nathan, but directed passionately by Emily. She stood at the front of the room, sleeves rolled up, guiding a group of wide-eyed kids. "It doesn't have to be perfect," she told them. "Just make it yours." Nathan watched from the back, arms folded, pride flickering across his face. One evening, after a long day at the center, Emily found Nathan at the dining table, papers spread out. She leaned over, scanning the documents. Her name appeared at the top of a proposal. "Project director," she murmured, stunned. Nathan looked up, calm but certain. "It's already yours. Emily, you have the heart for it. You've changed lives starting with ours." Her throat tightened. "Are you sure?" "I trust you more than anyone." His voice was steady. "Besides, Lily already introduced you as her art teacher and her mom. I'm just catching up." Not everything was smooth. Gossip swirled. Some accused Emily of chasing wealth, of stepping into shoes too big. But she refused to let whispers undo her again. One afternoon, after a cruel comment online, she closed her laptop with shaking hands. Nathan caught her before she slipped away. "Look at me," he said firmly. "You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to prove you deserve us. You already do." Emily swallowed hard, his words cutting through doubt like light through glass. Months passed. The center thrived. Children who had never held a paintbrush left with canvases splashed in color. Parents who had nearly given up on hope found it again through their kids. And Emily discovered something she never thought possible: purpose. It wasn't just love that healed her. It was watching a little boy paint his dream home, a girl sculpt a clay heart for her grandmother. Every smile was a reminder broken things could be made beautiful again. One rainy afternoon, Lily tugged Emily's sleeve, holding a dripping paintbrush. "Can we hang my picture in the big room?" Emily bent down. "Of course. What did you paint?" Lily beamed. "Us. Under a rainbow. But this time, with Grandma too." Nathan, standing nearby, brushed at his eyes discreetly. Emily pressed a kiss to Lily's curls. "Then we'll frame it, right in the center." At home that night, Emily sat with Nathan on the porch, rain pattering softly. She leaned against his shoulder. "You've given me more than I ever imagined," she said quietly. "But sometimes I wonder if I'll wake up and it'll all be gone." Nathan kissed the top of her head. "If tomorrow strips everything away, we'll still have this our family, and that's worth more than any empire." Emily closed her eyes, holding on to his words like an anchor. The seasons shifted. Fall leaves covered Maple Lane, then snow blanketed rooftops. Then spring arrived with blossoms on every branch. Emily grew into her role as project director. Nathan's work at Asterion stayed relentless, but he always made time for bedtime stories and weekend pancakes. Lily thrived, bright and joyful, never letting a day pass without calling Emily Mommy. And with each ordinary moment packing lunches, wiping paint-stained tables, laughing at bedtime jokes, Emily realized this was the extraordinary she had been waiting for. Still, there were ghosts. One evening, while cleaning the center, Emily found an old newspaper clipping about Nathan's wife's passing. She traced the headline with her fingers, her chest heavy. Nathan entered quietly, noticing. He reached for her hand. "She was incredible," he said softly, "and I'll always honor her memory. But Emily, don't ever think you're standing in her shadow. You're building something new with us. Something she would have wanted for Lily." Emily's eyes stung. She whispered, "Thank you for choosing me." Nathan shook his head gently. "No, for finding us." The year marked its circle. On the anniversary of their proposal, Nathan surprised Emily with dinner reservations. Stonehaven Grill, the very place where it all began. Walking in hand, Emily's stomach fluttered. The same lights, the same tables, yet everything felt different. The hostess recognized them instantly, smiling warmly. "Same table." Nathan nodded. Emily slid into her seat, scanning the room. A year ago, she had walked in with shame burning her skin. Tonight, she walked in with love beside her and peace in her chest. Over dinner, Emily glanced out the window at the glowing street. "Do you ever think about that night? About how it all started?" Nathan squeezed her hand. "Sometimes, but not with anger. If their cruelty hadn't led us here, I wouldn't have found you." Emily blinked against sudden tears. "So you don't regret it?" He smiled, genuine and full. "Not for a second. Sometimes the best things in life come wrapped in the worst disguises." She laughed softly. "And sometimes, forever begins at a table meant for heartbreak." Nathan lifted her hand to his lips. "Happy anniversary, sweetheart." As the night drew to a close, Emily tucked her chair back, heart brimming. She realized their story wasn't about a cruel prank or even a chance meeting. It was about resilience, about choosing kindness when the world chose ridicule, about sitting down at a table that could have broken her and instead finding the beginning of home. The anniversary dinner ended with quiet laughter and promises whispered across candlelight. But when Emily and Nathan stepped back onto Maple Lane, the night air carried a sense of beginning rather than closure. Lily was waiting at home with her grandmother, wide awake despite the late hour. She ran into Emily's arms, pressing her cheek against her shoulder. "Did you say yes again, Mommy?" Emily laughed softly, kissing her curls. "I'll keep saying yes, every day." Life moved forward with the rhythm of love and work intertwined. The community art program grew faster than anyone expected. Parents signed up in droves, children filled every room, and soon, other neighborhoods asked for their own branches. One evening, as they locked up the center, Nathan leaned against the doorframe, watching Emily gather brushes. "You realize, you've started something bigger than both of us." Emily shook her head, smiling tiredly. "We started this together, but success came with challenges. Demand outpaced resources. Rumors swirled that the foundation was stretched too thin. Journalists questioned if Hope Light could sustain its projects. Emily sat at the dining table one night, hands in her hair. What if it all falls apart? Nathan. What if I can't do this? Nathan reached across, covering her trembling hands with his steady ones. We don't build things to last forever. We build them to last for as long as people need them. And that, Emily, is enough. His calm grounded her. His faith stitched her back together. Spring arrived with a special event, Hope Light's first citywide children's showcase. Dozens of centers gathered under one roof, their walls alive with art. Paintings, clay sculptures, poetry taped to boards. Emily walked through the hall, overwhelmed by the sea of colors. Children ran up to her, pulling her toward their creations. Miss Emily, look, I made this for my mom. I painted a sky with no cloud. Her eyes brimmed. This wasn't just art. It was hope made visible. When it was Lily's turn to present, she marched proudly to the stage in her little white dress. She held up a canvas of 3 hands linked together beneath a glowing lantern. This is my family, she declared into the microphone. My daddy, my mommy, and me. And the light is everything they gave me. The crowd hushed. Emily pressed a hand to her mouth. Nathan slipped an arm around her shoulders, his voice breaking as he whispered, "She's braver than both of us." That night, after the showcase, Emily tucked Lily into bed. The little girl blinked sleepily, whispering, "Promise me you'll never stop painting with me." Emily kissed her forehead. "I promise. Forever and always." In the doorway, Nathan watched, his expression soft. When Emily joined him, he murmured, "Do you see what you've become to her? Not just a step into her life, but the step that changed everything." Emily leaned into him, whispering, "She changed me too." Months later, a stormy afternoon brought a twist Emily never expected. A letter arrived at the community center, stamped with the city seal. It wasn't a complaint. It was an invitation. The mayor wanted to expand the art program across every borough, naming Emily as the city's director of youth arts initiatives. Emily stood frozen, reading the letter aloud. Volunteers clapped, children cheered. Nathan smiled like he'd known all along. Emily whispered, almost to herself, They want me." Nathan pulled her close, answering firmly, "They don't just want you, they need you." But with recognition came scrutiny. Old photos resurfaced. Headlines from her office scandal reappeared, spun into ugly rumors. Social media churned with harsh voices. Emily's knees buckled one evening, and she sobbed at the kitchen table. "They'll never let me outrun my past." Nathan crouched before her, lifting her chin gently. "You don't have to outrun it. You only have to outshine it. And you already are." Lily padded in, dragging her bunny by the ear. She looked up, sleepy-eyed but sure. "Mommy, you're stronger than the mean people. Daddy says so. And Daddy's never wrong." Emily broke into tears again, this time from love. The official announcement came months later. Cameras flashed, reporters asked questions. But when Emily stepped to the podium, she didn't freeze. She began with her truth. "I wasn't supposed to be here. I was once a girl mocked at a restaurant, humiliated for daring to sit at the wrong table. But I sat anyway. And it led me to my family, and to every child here today." Her voice grew stronger. "If you've ever been told you don't belong, sit down anyway. Sometimes. The table meant for your humiliation becomes the table meant for your beginning." The room erupted in applause. Nathan squeezed her hand, whispering, "That's the moment I fell in love, all over again." Years passed, each marked not by wealth or accolades, but by small rituals. pancakes on Saturdays, paint-smeared aprons on weekdays, evening walks on Maple Lane. The crayon drawings on the fridge multiplied. Rainbows, castles, families holding hands. And through it all, the love between Emily and Nathan only deepened, stitched together by laughter, resilience, and Lily's unshakable joy. On the 5th anniversary of that fateful blind date, they returned to Stonehaven Grill once more. The hostess recognized them instantly. Back again, Emily smiled, always. They sat at the same table, beneath the same warm lights. Nathan reached across, his fingers lacing with hers. He whispered, "Do you ever think about how close we came to missing this?" Emily's eyes softened. "Every day. And every day, I thank God we didn't." The twist came not in grandeur, but in simplicity. As dessert arrived, Lily, now older, taller, wiser, slid into the booth beside Emily. She pulled a folded piece of paper from her pocket. It was another drawing. This time, 3 figures again, but now surrounded by dozens of children. Above them, in bold letters, family isn't just who you're born to. It's who you choose to love. Emily's vision blurred. She turned to Lily. "Did you make this tonight?" Lily grinned. "I've been saving it. For our real anniversary." Nathan kissed Emily's hand, his voice thick. Sometimes the cruelest jokes become the kindest gifts. Emily looked at him, then at Lily, then at the world they'd built. Her voice trembled, but her conviction was clear. We are proof that love can grow from broken places, and that kindness can turn even the darkest setup into the brightest forever. The restaurant filled with quiet applause from nearby tables, strangers sensing the weight of the moment. But Emily only heard Nathan's steady breathing, only felt Lily's small hand wrapped in hers. It was the same table, the same lights, yet everything had changed. And as they leaned together, 3 lives intertwined. Emily knew the story had never been about humiliation. It had always been about finding home. Thank you so much for spending your time with this story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us of the power of kindness and love. Your support helps us keep telling these moments that matter. Take care of yourself, hold on to hope, and may your days be filled with light and peace.